Well, welcome everyone to the December 21st, 2023 meeting of the Revitalization Trust Fund. Um, we are all basically on Zoom, but it is a public meeting which is being recorded so that people could either attend this meeting or be able to watch the recording afterwards. So why don't we start by basically approving the October 26th meeting notes. And we have 3 out of 4, so we have a quorum.
Yeah.
So I would like to propose that we that we approve the October 26th to 28th. Which was it? It was November 28th meeting notes of 2023. Do I have a second?
Yeah. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
They are officially accepted. All right. So let's move on to the more fun stuff.
We have that was for November.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So we're good there. All right. So first, the update on the From Needham to the World unveiling. That was not the one I wanted. Hang on. Let's go here. Update on Bert Wilkstrom, his bench. Well, I sent in to do more, actually to O'Brien and Sons, a photograph that one of his sons had taken of a clock that they thought would be a nice image that we would potentially be able to put onto the plaque. One of the criteria was the fact that it needed to be a raised image. They do have the ability to be able to do a scanned, like photographic image on it. But I've seen the results of that, and it doesn't really look like it would be either very clear or long lasting. So, but the raised bronze plaque images that I've seen are terrific. So we will see what happens as far as they've transferred the image to the photo that I sent them to do more, and then they'll come back with a proof. And our hope is that it will look great. So that's what we're waiting for on that bench. Just the second piece of that is, as soon as we've got that taken care of, then we've already got an approval to be able to finish out the other two remaining benches that we haven't done there at the front of Greens Field by Park and Recreation. But once we have this image, then I will send them a package to keep them informed as we're doing it. And then the next piece of the puzzle, we'll notify the select board to keep them informed. And since there'll be donations that they'll be approving for that bench. And the last piece of the puzzle is that there are people in the surrounding groups of merchants who have known Bert for a long, long time, and all want to be able to contribute to the bench. And so we'll basically put it out for funding as soon as we get that completed. So that's where we're at with Bert. The store, I believe, is now, if it's not already closed, very close to being closed. They've been liquidating all the internal things and getting their biggest challenge has been be able to get people who have left off clocks to be repaired, who have never come back to pick them up. So
it should be like the storage lockers. When you abandon your storage locker, they should just put them on up an auction or whatever.
Yeah, well, I think that may be the case when they finally get to the last of it, because they've tried everything they can to be able to contact all these people, and some of the people are just like, oh, I just totally forgot about it.
Right.
So we shall see, but anyway, they're working through that, and basically they'll be out certainly, or, completely closed by the end of the month anyway. Let's see. Update on the Amity Path bench, that we're just waiting for them to be able to get back to us with another image for the where the inlaid plaque would be on this bench. Once I have that, then I will, we've already gotten approval from Ed Olson for the location, which we did a number of months ago now. Then the last piece of the puzzle will be to be able to take the image of the bench as well as the plaque images, and send them to the select board for their final approval. There's no direct fundraising involved in this particular one. There may be some donations towards it, but essentially they're funding the creation of the bench. So, so once we've got it fully approved, then basically in the spring that it will make arrangements to be able to connect them up with Park and Forestry, and they will deliver to the site and install it. So to be, and the preliminary images I've seen, it's going to be incredibly cool. So it's certainly the most unique bench that we've ever done. And let's see. Facebook promotions, any updates, Eric?
So, nothing super new. I've dropped several of the videos that you provided me over the last several weeks. We've got a couple likes and a couple new additions to our following. Not as many as I would like. So I've been trying to share it with the page with friends of mine and see if they can try to spread the word. I've also been tagging Town of Needham. So hopefully Amy Helsing can sort of also maybe repost or share, or people will at least see us via the Needham page as well. There is an option to promote your page, if you will, on Facebook, but I think it's like a fee, and I hadn't gone down that road yet. Maybe it's something we want to potentially think about. I don't know how much more exposure that would or would not give us. It's something I can check out. But I think just posting things on a regular basis, whether it be pictures or videos, and we're slowly gonna, gather awareness, and hopefully, more and more people will start following us. But you know how it is on social media. It's like you have to spread the word somehow via friends or via other companies or via other venues in Needham. So I've been doing a lot of word of mouth with my friends in the town, either when we're out or at my kids' events at sports or whatever, just to try to spread the word. So anything that you guys can do along those same lines would be helpful. And I think it's just we'll just keep plugging away and see what happens.
Sure. Well, I got your Dropbox link, and I would say certainly by Monday, I'll see if I can get it actually. Well, I can tomorrow. I should be able to send you some more videos.
Send some photos too, because photos are a lot easier and quicker just to post. I can post multiple photos really quick.
Okay.
So the videos are great. But I feel like some people may sit through the videos, other people may not. But a quick photo is at least just in front of them, and they can just see the photo and scroll and like it, and just things like that start spreading the word.
And the link to the newsletter also.
Link to the newsletter, absolutely.
So
if you send me that in an email form, I can save that down, and then I can add that to the bottom of every post that I put.
That would be great.
Do you have Instagram?
I do personally, but I don't know if
I was going to say the Instagram for like photos and stuff like that. I mean, even when you're looking at data now, Instagram is getting more and more and more of the actual like traffic, so to speak, on the web,
Who
which is
has
always a
control
good.
of, do we have an Instagram page or who has control of that, Paul?
Actually, I have to check to see whether we set up an Instagram page or not.
I mean,
Because
it. Yeah, I was gonna say I don't. I quickly glanced today and didn't see one.
we should do
But that
that.
would be a good thing to set up and is say yes, definitely set one up there. And then the other one is, I mean, because you guys are. I know LinkedIn started, and I have not gone down this road. I've been out of the whole realm. I know like municipalities have stuff, but I want to say LinkedIn now has where nonprofits can have like page profile pages on LinkedIn, which is good because then, in terms of getting donations and things like that of communities, that might be something also to get to out there into that realm of sharing things. I don't
Yeah.
want to say Facebook's not what it used to be. I mean,
No, I agree.
and
I
now,
agree.
look at the demographics out there. I mean, if you want kids, and you got to go to TikTok, and if you want, kind of that millennial generation is more on the Instagram world, and then you
Yeah.
get to my age, and it's people that had one of the first Facebook accounts when you used to have to be at university to get one.
That's my age. So, I mean, so
Yeah.
that being said, yeah, I think we should try to capitalize on an Instagram account if we have one. If not, I could try to pioneer starting one. LinkedIn, the
Okay.
same thing. We may have to start one. I'm not huge on social media, and nor am I huge on LinkedIn, just because I own my own company, so I don't really need to be on LinkedIn for anything typically. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy to go down either or both of those paths just to sort of broaden the reach of who we're seeing.
Well, I'll check. Let me check into the Instagram um, setup uh,
Sure.
to just to verify whether it is set up or not, and if not, I can just set it up. Uh,
Yeah.
and then the other thing that I have to get a feel for is reels are the things that really get probably the most views from
Hmm.
from all the people that I've talked to.
Yeah,
Um,
but I think reels only go with they're only exposed
I-
to the people who
In
who follow you, and I think we only have 100 or so followers. So yes, I agree
Yeah,
with
you
you.
kind of reels and it's Instagram go together. So
yeah.
that's
So if we build
Yeah.
up Instagram, following,
Mhm.
then we obviously could then branch into to reels, but obviously that's not going to happen quickly.
Right.
Mm.
And I've still been waiting for, remember that page that you and I found, Paul, that had like 13,000 Needham followers?
Oh yeah, that's the Needham MMA.
So I've proposed to be invited to that group via the Revitalization Trust Fund, and they haven't accepted that yet, which is strange because personally I'm on there, and I think personally you're on there,
Mhm.
but they haven't accepted the group yet. So I'm gonna see if I can reach out to whoever's the admin of that page and
Yes.
ask them if they can include us, because that's obviously a pretty good reach of people.
Oh, and
Um,
that's a great target audience. I mean, that's exactly you
What do you
know,
want?
that's where everybody is basically when
right,
it's the
right.
Needham. So yes, if you can reach out to her again, and just say, hey, we'd really like to be able to, get some exposure for the fund, right away during the holiday.
Yeah, it's
You know,
not the Needham page. It's not the one that Amy runs. It's a,
no,
I-
no, no. It's the
private
it's the
page.
private it's the private page. They originally that it was from what I've understand anyway, that they originally had they had gotten the original Needham MA page and it was public. And then a realty company, Key, I think it was, uh,
Yes, we found that.
created Needham MA also. How they got to be able to create the same page a second time, I don't understand. But and it only has like 300 followers on it, so it's
Right.
it's obviously not used. But but I think that prompted them to take uh, uh, part of the reason that it prompted them to go private So it became invitation only. So they basically moved everybody onto a private page. And it also
Right.
allows them to be able to control the environment much more. Because, sometimes people would get onto the Needham MMA page and just, and rant. And
Yeah.
they want to be much more in control of the environment. So I can understand that. So anyway, yes, if you can please, send her an email tonight or tomorrow morning or whatever you can, to ask her if there's, if we can get approved for the Revitalization Trust Fund,
Yep.
to be able to post, then that would be great.
So your understanding is that she runs that page also?
Well, no, that the person who is there, I don't recall her name off the top of my head, but there's the administrator of the Needham MA page.
Right.
That's the person who has to approve it. Amy
Okay,
doesn't
all right.
have to do it.
That's right. All right. All right. So I'll dig into it. I'll email her directly and see if I can bridge that gap. Okay.
Yeah, that would be great.
All right.
All righty. Let's see. But just well, we'll get back. Let's see. Let's Facebook. Um, just we'll continue to follow up on the Charles River Street cleanup project.
Post office.
That's- Well, let me I'll just cover this one quickly. The Charles River Street, we'll kick that off
Okay,
in February.
Yep.
And Eric, you and I, we're gonna basically team up to be able to, rally as many students as we can to be able to do it. We obviously
Yep.
we won't do it until the snow is off the ground, but shortly after that, we want to set it up, and while the ground is clear, everything is, nothing is basically coming up, so that we can get the trash out of the woods, that we won't have bugs, all the other stuff that goes along
Yep.
with, that. So we'll just, I'll keeping it on the agenda just so we keep moving it forward, but, in February,
Perfect. Yep. Maybe we can find a way to leak that, in January or February. Maybe I can make a post as well, and we can put that on social media just to sort of like leak it
Oh,
and
yeah.
get ahead of it.
Yeah.
So
On our
that's a good idea.
Instagram.
Yep.
And our Instagram page, which we will have set up
There
very
you go. We
shortly.
found an Instagram page. Yeah.
Yeah. So the update on the post office, the trellis is here. It's been acquired. The weather's been too cold to paint it
yeah,
because it definitely has to be painted outside. So, but it'll get painted white. And if we get another 50-degree day that I can do it, then I'll get it painted up. And if the ground isn't frozen, it can be installed. But if not, it'll end up just going in as soon as the spring happens, and from there, then we'll clean up the bench and relocate it a little bit, and then get a nicer stone base for it, so that it's not sitting just on the grass and the dirt. So it'll make the whole thing look, much more formalized, and we'll go from there. I'm going to reach out to Eden Garden Center and see if that's a project that they'd be interested in being able to work with us on. So that's basically where we're at as far as that goes. Let's see. We, obviously we have to wait for the update from Jessica on the pansy master. But she will, I'm sure she'll give us an update as far as that goes. And we have 2 months to be able to put that together. So we have January and February. So we'll get right on it as soon as she feels better, and start to get the initial stuff over to the graphic artist, so we can start setting up the base foundation for it. So, because it rolls over in March. And in that particular one, of course, we also don't have to worry about coordinating with the person who's in the profile for showing up, since he's been gone for like 100 years. So, so So mostly we'll coordinate probably with Gloria Grice and whatever other connections that would have to do, probably maybe the garden clubs or things like that, to be able to be connected with the ceremony and the history. So, and then that one probably we would ask Gloria if she would record a video that basically just tells the story. And maybe we can do that in conjunction with the Needham channel. And then we'll use that as the QR code link
Perfect.
for, for the profile. So
Mhm.
that's the scoop with that. The NCAC grant that we got all the paperwork filed and for acceptance of the grant they had given us during this year. And we also have filed the paperwork, and they're putting it through the process currently for a grant for next year. So two opportunities. One of them is about $400. It's $400 for the one for 2023, which will hopefully be processed in the next, few weeks. And then the second one we applied for 450, and when they, do their final, review or allocations and find out, I should say, confirm what the state, the Mass Council for Arts confirms the amount that they think that they're getting, then that will ultimately determine how it's proportioned out. So we shall see. Let's see. And um, I'm I'm pulling together the pieces for the From Needham to the World uh, webpage. One of the things that Amy did for us, which was terrific, was made sure that we had the appropriate logos and information for both the Massachusetts and Needham and the town, all who were connected with the grant program, so that it's visibly posted on our sponsors page. And Amy did a great job of being able to write a little piece at the top of it that explained what what the grant was for, and from Needham to the World, and all that. So, and that we actually used those funds for the From Needham to the World for the one for the Jacobs brothers. And we had some additional expenses that were above and beyond when for that particular one, because as you might recall, we went back and did an update on the graphics, and then put up the new poster, the new mural that included their mom, who wasn't featured in the initial go through. So and they were absolutely delighted that we took the initiative to be able to do that. It just came up in a conversation because it was written up in the profile description, that their mom was a big influence. And we realized that we didn't have a picture of their mom. And so we ended up asking them for it, and was able to, reinsert it into the profile and move a few things around so it would really feature her as appropriately in the mix of photos. So it worked out great, and they were really delighted. Let's see. The other thing too is that we're talking about sponsors. We also will, when I do the From Needham to the World pieces, that'll also we'll put up a notice in the sponsorship page for in kind basically sponsorship from the Needham History Center. Since, they've been incredibly instrumental in being able to help us with the original collections of some of the names that we've used for the list of 60. And of course, any information they went out and did the interview with Robert Larson, and did a great job with that. And that became the video we used for the link for Bob Larson's profile. So, they've done a number of these kinds of things and supported us with information, as well as supported Jessica with information. And I wanted to make sure that we, acknowledged their support and help on our site.
Definitely.
Yeah, so we'll work on that. All right. One of the things we want to do is to see if we'll start incorporating into our newsletter. But we can do this as we get on to, hopefully, very soon, Needham MA put out a request for members joining the Revitalization Trust Fund. So over the course of this last year, we've had, 3 openings that have occurred for the various reasons, where they were either leaving town or got a position on a larger town committee. So that, but interestingly enough, apparently it's been much harder, and this, I guess seems to be a kind of just a fact of life at the moment, that people are still not jumping on to committees with the same active interest that they'd had previously. We've never had a problem with being able to replace any vacancies for the 20 plus years. And this is the first time that, that we've actually are now going to go out and actually solicit to recruit people to join.
Mhm.
So, it's a very interesting situation, but obviously we just need to react to it and be able to promote that in things that we post, that we have openings on the committee. And if you're interested in it, then you can contact Miles, and they will, walk through the criteria that's required for being able to be on the committee, and then set them up for interviews. So that's basically the process. The Needham Heights banner that since that's basically a spring project, and we had these grant things that we needed to be able to get in, right away, that I got a little waylaid on being able to put that full package together, but we will persevere, and over the course of the next week or so, in between the holiday things, I'm working on being able to get that package together. So by the time we get to our January meeting, I'll have an update on that, and hopefully have it in process for consideration by the select board at whatever the next appropriate meeting is, during January, that they can fit it on the agenda. So that's the update on that one. There's I don't really have an update as far as the box wrap in the at Thorpe Park. It's still out there as a project approved and ready for funding. So we'll, continue to look for sponsors for that. I did get a call from a person who wanted to asked about wanting to be able to have a box in that's down around their area, if they wanted to be able to, help rally people to sponsor it, what was the process and so on. So, we'll see if they continue wanting to be able to, inspire that particular project, but that's something that they were, there was a nice inquiry, and we'll see if just basically from the public. And so we'll see how that follows up as we get into the spring, because we wouldn't be able to do anything until the spring anyway, because you've got to have warm weather to be able to wrap the box properly. The that was basically that one. So that covered that one. Well, I think I've already told you about this. The school department approved the bench at the Mitchell School. And so now I've been in touch with the sponsor, and they're just working out the timing for how they want to rally people to be able to donate for the bench. It's connected to the Jog Your Memory organization, which is an Alzheimer's fundraising organization that this person is very that the person who's the bench will be dedicated to was instrumental in creating that organization in the first place. And he's on the board for that, and they're all looking to be able to rally people to to be able to contribute to it. And it's also the bench that will be in a place where the race for Jog Your Memory starts and ends. So they're very excited about it. They were delighted to be able to hear that it was all approved. And now we'll just keep the process going. Again, it's a project for the spring, but because it takes about 2 months to be able to have the bench created, that we'll probably put the order in someplace in February, so that as we get into April, when the bench would show up sometime around the end of April, that April, early May, we could have the bench installed and be able to then set up whatever time that they want to do a rally for the for the group to be able to dedicate it. So that's basically the time frame for that one. And I think that covers the agenda that I have. No, that was a lot of stuff.
That was a lot of
Was.
Yeah.
The longest one we've had in a long time.
So, any other things that you, Carol, have, in mind, or things that we need to be able to consider or work on? As I said, I would get you the Dropbox stuff so you can have that. I should be able to get that to you. Well, I will. I'll get that to you tomorrow so that you have it, so we can keep that rolling.
Yep.
But anything else? Anything else from you, Eric?
No, not specifically. I'm gonna reach out to whoever that woman is, the admin of the Needham group, and try to get us in that door. And then I'll just try to double down my posting efforts in hopes that things get shared and liked, and it starts to snowball, I guess, or once you get going. So you and I can touch base. I'm traveling tomorrow, Saturday, for the week, and I'll be back after New Year's. But let's touch base about getting the Instagram started at the beginning of the year, maybe, or maybe not LinkedIn, if we think that that's appropriate as well. And we'll just make a push on the social media side. I mean, that's I think we should do that.
Yeah.
I'm just
No,
like
that's-
getting my time.
That's great. So I think, other than that, we're just going to take a second to be able to set the date for the January meeting. And Carol is grabbing the calendar even as we speak.
There's the 18th of January or the 25th.
All right. Do the 18th versus the 25th, either of those?
Thursday night.
I am okay on both 18 and 25 as of right now at 5 o'clock.
I would say for me, I would say the 25th, because that gives us gets us a lot closer to when we're going to be kicking off the planning for the uh, Charles River Street cleanup, and
Yeah,
that'll give us more time also to test out some of the social media stuff that you and I can connect with after the first of the year and get
Sure.
up posting and running. Um,
Yeah.
so that's and I think the more of that stuff that we do, just posting. One of the things I'll do tomorrow is I'll give you the link for the newsletter to be able to sign up for the newsletter, and I'll give you a bunch of photos
Yep.
to be able to post. And if it's possible for you to put some of those up, wherever you can right away before you take off,
Sure.
that would be great. Because if nothing else, if we can get more people to be able to rally onto the newsletter,
Yep.
then we have a communication link to be able to connect with them better.
Sure. Absolutely.
So, all right.
February 25th.
So we're saying, JP, does that work for you?
We're fine. That's what I just put in my calendar.
All righty. And I think so 5. That's good. And all right. So
Okay.
anything that you have, JP, that as far as updates from things.
I know that the branding and town seal committee has been meeting, so that's probably going to be more relevant once they get done to make sure that, deciding what they end up with and how that gets incorporated into, branding things that go on down the line after that's done. So I think that's
Mhm.
really the big thing that's there.
Any feel for what some of the criteria is and
I this started even before I was
yeah, I
had
know.
started, so they were going down it. I know, which is kind of ironic because when I looked at the town seal the first time and I was like, oh, that's interesting, and didn't really think much of it, and then after they said they were meeting, I looked at it again. I was like, oh, okay, I can kind of see why now that there was some question on does it need to be updated, and if it is updated, what do those updates need to look like? So I know that they've been meeting on that, and I mean, I'm assuming that from my perspective, I think it's a good thing because it kind of is the gateway into all branding from that point forward. It kind of gives, identity, and then you kind of can build off of that, at least from my side from economic development for promotional materials, listings like that, property cards that you might send out to when you do some advertising in some of the development periodicals and
Mhm.
conferences that go on.
I would guess that the historical society is probably um, the history museum and so on is going to be influential in terms of how this all occurs. Is that correct?
I think so. I mean, I know I can, what is it? There's
I mean, I think
yeah,
isn't
there's
there?
somebody from Kevin's on it, Marshall Davis from the Historic Commission, Gloria Grice from the Needham History
History
Center and
museum.
Museum,
Yep. Yep.
uh Topher from the NCAC, Cynthia from the Human Rights Committee,
Hmm.
David Lindy, I think he's just at large. There's somebody by the name of as a representative from the Natick Praying Indian tribe, Amber Autumn Sun Orlando, and then Kate Fitzpatrick, the town manager.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So I know that it's it may be the historic symbol that we've used for a long time, um, but I can understand that even though many people have never really thought much of the symbolism of it is the fact is it does represent um, a certain perspective, and that um, it'll be interesting to see what the updated image and
I,
primarily the image will be.
right.
So great, because we actually have one of those on the archway in the downtown. So it'll be relevant to what we do and whether there's the necessity of being able to change something that's existing. And then
Yeah, and then
obviously,
I think it's going to be up to the question of your board, and that is it something that you guys want to do, and is there a drive to do it, or is it just at the end of its life is when it gets replaced, so to speak.
right. Yeah. But it's also on it's on the head of our letterheads, because we're a town committee
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff. So we would be easily able to update. So since I can basically change that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That stuff is but I think later on as time goes, it's going to get very much more interesting into what it all becomes and what they, decide is the then branding of it and what the seal looks like.
Yeah. Well, I guess that'll be something in 2024. We'll figure out.
Yes, exactly.
I
So-
I found a group, I don't know, this was at least, it's right here. I have a pack of these.
Hang on a
We
second.
were about 3 to 5 years ago, do you remember these? Because we tried to do it in the summer and go to the things, and the people I had anyway
Oh, yeah, for the postcard.
refused. They said we can't take those. But I was wondering if there's some way we could just, it's,
Oh, yeah.
the wording sometimes in the, around when you're there is a little awkward. For now,
I mean, it basically just says the Revitalization Trust Fund. It says give the gift that transforms Needham.
yeah,
And then send your tax deductible donations to the Revitalization Trust Fund at it says select men's office.
yeah,
Yeah, so that's the only
that's the only thing that's.
the issue with it. Yeah, and actually there's some of the things here. It's, see us at needarts.com and needhambusiness.com, both of which don't connect anymore.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, yeah, the card won't.
That's what bothered me about it.
Yeah, so, well, we can see what other types of ways we might be able to connect. That was a good idea, and we'll just, but we can't use that particular card, I think, because of the outdated information on it.
Right,
So,
yeah,
all right.
okay,
So I guess we are all set.
all set.
Um,
January 25th.
so January 25th is our next meeting. And if I have I will propose that we close the meeting, the December 21st meeting of the Revitalization Trust Fund. Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much, JP. You are wonderful and helpful as always. And
Sorry about the delay. Hopefully Verizon gets my internet fixed. So
well, we had a little wind and
yeah, I think it worked this morning though. So I don't know. I live up in Woburn, and I mean we had wind and stuff, but we never lost power or anything. And then I mean the internet worked this morning, and then I go to get on, and then the computer's restarting, and then it keeps saying it can't connect, and that's when I realized it was an internet issue. So
yeah. Well, thank goodness for phones and
yes.
and automobiles. So thank you from doing it live from your automobile.
Yes.
So we
Yeah.
can still have the meeting.
The joys of hotspots in cars.
That's right. Yes. So thank you very much. Thanks, Eric. Greatly
Yeah.
appreciate it. We'll be in touch. I'll give you send you that stuff over tomorrow morning with the for the Dropbox and with images and also the link to the to sign up for the newsletter so you can post that wherever you can before you take off, and that would be totally awesome.
Absolutely.
Alrighty then.
All right.
Very good.
Thank you so much.
All right, everybody have a good New
Guys,
Year. See you after.
Happy holidays.
Happy New Year to everybody.
Yeah.
Take care.
Absolutely.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.